everyone, it's Will back here for what is hopefully the final video of the series for developing a game in under 3 hours. So what we really have left is, kind of walk this over. I'm sure it was towards the end of the last video. We basically have this game. You shoot, you get points. Timer expires, and then game over. So nothing too crazy of a game. Not very good game design in general, but being this my first, kind of solo video game of my own, pretty happy with where it's at right now. So the last step in this is just to get some sound in there. I think, when I initially started out, I wanted to have a bunch of different weapons, a bunch of different sounds for that. Um, Unfortunately, I think, trying to make that inventory script and being able to switch weapons is just going to take up a little bit too much time and probably push me over that 3 hour limit. So we're just going to stick with a few kind of basic sounds that I have here. So, general footsteps for the player running around. I don't think those will be too hard. The rifle shot itself. So being this, kind of sci-fi looking laser, I'd like to have that something that kind of resembles that futuristic kind of laser effect. So we're gonna try for that. I also would like, a some kind of like metal ping sound, just to like really give the player that indication that they actually hit something that they were supposed to. And then maybe a little bit of like ambiance, some wind creation, um, and then maybe some like a soundscape and some music or something along the lines. It's kind of tough because the game's only 10 seconds long. So we'll have to play with it and see what fits. But just to get started, and just as a precursor to this, so I actually was trying to record earlier, and I got through the main rifle sounds and realized the recording was not working. So I do have these sounds. I have four of them bounced just to add a little bit of variation in the rifle shot itself. But I figured I'd just kind of walk you guys through this again and kind of show you what's good. So for the rifle sound, I'm using Crotos's weaponizer. It's this fantastic plugin. Pull it up right here if you haven't seen it yet. But basically, you can pull in all these different samples and play with them, tweak them, adjust them, have all that sort of fun. So just you can see it's duplicated here, but I'll just kind of walk you guys through what I was thinking real quick. So um, given the argument of time, I'm not going to go crazy and try and do anything um, fully creation wise or self-recorded. I think sample libraries are the way to go for this. So for this, I really just started out with a preset and sort of fine-tuned it from there. So we can kind of go piece by piece. But in the body section, I have a couple of these different samples. You can kind of hear it here. But again, my goal was to get that futuristic sound, something like the pew. So yeah, this is kind of how I designed it. We've got this acid gun release magazine. It's a little bit of texture to it. Again, it's more kind of like general foley of parts moving, and this is kind of under the assumption that the animation that I built is much better. Obviously, the gun doesn't move much; it just literally goes like that. But I'm kind of picturing this to where if this game were to get updated or something, and someone who actually has good animation skills were to come in and change it up, they could maybe use some of these sounds as the framework for it. So again, there's these Foley elements, but they're not really in the game. I still want to design them. So yeah, so we have body of the sound, that kind of charge up. I'm sorry, that was the onset. This is the body. So again, it kind of gives that laser kind of synthy pew that I was trying to go for. You can see some of the kind of adjustments that I've made to this. Um, Again, I wish my recording didn't get deleted, but um, for the sake of time, I think it's okay to just kind of go through and talk about some of these things. So I also wanted to give some sort of like impact to the gun. And by impact, I mean kind of like that subby low end. Um, and I don't know, for me, I think just with any gun in general, that's like a really important aspect to it. That kind of thunk. Pew, pew. So yeah, and then nothing really in the tail. So altogether, just this track itself, um, kind of sort of lacks that undercarriage kind of tone to it. I wanted something a little bit more robust, so I ended up just duplicating this and working with a different kind of set. So I ended up just taking a sample of a Dragunov being shot, a little bit of variation in there, um, and then some more work with lasers. So if I actually turn this off, this is just the sample itself, and obviously the speed has been adjusted. You know, that pew kind of adds a little layer to that, just to make the sound a little bit more rounded and complete. And then I also um, doubled down on that low end frequency and added this synth in here. You kind of get that real low end. And then lastly, I also really wanted to add like a sort of reload sound, or not necessarily a reload, but a good indicator to the player that, you know, the shot was finished and the gun is ready to be shot again. And given the code that I had wrote, where is it? So yeah, we have this wait for seconds of 0.6. So my goal is for kind of the gun sound to be right at like 0.6 seconds. So that was a thought here. But again, back to this reload. I think let's say I used a Glock 9 sample. Let's see. Nope, AK-47. So, and it's kind of hard to see, but if I zoom in, it's kind of see the instance is just a little bit towards the end, and then I threw a gain on there to really kind of drive it home. And yeah, so this is the overall sound of the rifle. I bounced these to another track, and you can listen to a few of the takes. So you can kind of hear that last little. So yeah, that's kind of how I designed the main rifle sound. I should really label this differently. I'll call this low emphasis. All right. For footsteps, I'm not going to go too crazy on these. Go ahead and save. But we are a character, we're walking on grass, and what's nice is actually, if I open up Unity, the first person controller, and if you remember in like the first video where I completely forgot this was there and I wasn't hearing it back in my audio and probably blew out some of your eardrums, actually already got the audio source in Unity all set up. And this actually leads me to another good point. Typically, I stick with Wise on it pretty much every game I make, Wise or Fmod. But since this game is so kind of simple and really, you know, there aren't many complex audio, I guess, events going on, I figured it was easier to just stick with Unity. Plus, I wanted to do a WebGL build to actually put it on my portfolio. And Wise, as of today, I think the 22.1 version, they sort of support WebGL. I think you have to like individually request it, and they have to approve it. It just felt like a whole lot, and based on what I'm trying to accomplish for this game, I think that just putting the sounds directly into Unity is going to be a lot more easy for me to manage. So that being said, yeah, like I said, like I was saying before, this audio source came with the first-person controller that I downloaded from, I believe, the Unity store. It could have been else, I forget. Um, so this does have footsteps actually, but we're gonna go ahead and swap them out, and yeah, let's go ahead and get to making those. Wipe this clean. There are a bunch of presets. I don't think the footstep sounds are going to be too crazy. It's just a grass ground. We can start somewhere and just kind of work our way. We'll say using boots. It's kind of a military type deal. That's what we're working with. Seems a little slow. See if we can turn the speed up. Starting to get there. One of the samples in here I don't. Just seems like a little bit off, but maybe. Oh. Oh, these are muted. Might have been helpful. I was gonna say, it sounded thin and I wanted to add more. Let's just open these up piece by piece. That clip I really like. Got just enough of that low end. Really don't like that one. And then let's see what came with this thump. That's just another kind of lower end emphasis. That just sounds a little weird. Heel toe. Well, maybe if we adjust speed similarly, get the desired effect. Something just sounds off there. I think I'm gonna get rid. Man, I really like the way that this grass boots heel clips added to the texture of it. Yeah, you can almost hear it's doing like a little flanging effect, so something's kind of off here. Yeah, you hear that? It almost sounds like a laser. I have a feeling it's just one of these randomizing clips syncing up with the wrong one. Probably that one. What? Maybe have a little bit of variation in the speed, see if that helps. I'm going to push this onset just a little bit forward. And I'm going to get rid of this. So let's hear how this sounds. I don't want a little bit more crunch. Let me look for crunch. Yeah, kind of like that. It sounds almost like a little branch breaking in the grass, maybe. That one's a little crazy. Pull this back. Some of these are just not lining up. Suspect it's this guy. I can boost this crunch up a little. Let's add some variation to the speed of that. I don't want all of it. And we're just a little close to that 600 millisecond limit, so I'm going to cut back on this a little bit. I think this needs a little more variation. I like the first part of that sound. Just like I think that'll be enough. I really only want like 4 total footsteps to kind of cycle through. I think that provides enough. Let's see how we're sounding in full. To you. That's a little long as well. And we have this level shaper that'll kind of fade it out, which is nice. Yeah, I like the way that sounds. So what I can do is actually just grab this, pull it down, bounce it, call it footsteps pip, or bounce in place. Those not familiar with Logic, essentially just freezing the track. And yeah, this is I do use Logic. I enjoy Reaper as well. I know Pro Tools, but when it comes to like a time constraint, I've always been the most familiar with Logic. Like that's my personal preference. I grew up making videos and projects and all different types of beats using kind of like GarageBand. So when it comes to time, this is what I'll probably default to. But I'll use a preference kind of. Nope, don't want all of you. I like the way those levels are at. I think I'm happy with this. Gotcha. Gotcha. Uh, okay. Okay. Reach these all over, and then let's add a little bit of a fade in and a fade out to all these clips. Just to avoid any pops in case we encounter them. Should have added them to all. Yes, it did. Okay, cool. So we can go ahead and bounce these. I've already bounced these into a folder. Don't really want to go through my files with you, so I'm just going to do this over on the side. Let's see. Okay. So let's go ahead and get the rifle sound and the footstep sounds implemented into game. And I actually already implemented the rifle sound in my first attempt at this video, despite it, crashing. But I can quickly go ahead and show you guys kind of what I did. Where did you go? Did you go? Here we go. So, same spot that I attached the blue laser rifle script. I also had an audio source, and I dropped all these different rifle sounds in. So I think all these other ones are from some of the downloaded assets that I got from the Unity store. So we just ignore those for now. Make sure all these are added in. I think this is how you do it. Let's see. And then for the code, right after I start that code routine of firing the blue gun, I added a public audio source, fire sound. Right after that code routine, I just have fire sound at play. That's the only modification I made to that code. So this is kind of what it sounds like in game. And I'm not getting playback in my headphones. Let me just check OBS and see. Okay, sounds like you are. Apologies if it's like ridiculously loud. Let me change my loopback settings real quick, just so I can hear that. Okay, I should be able to hear things. There we go. Okay, so we got the rifle sound in. Now we can go over to our first person controller and just swap in these footstep sounds that we made. So let me go to my Finder. Pull this stuff in. And where did I put my original sounds? Let's make a new folder. Call it audio. Drag all the rifle sounds in. And then we'll additionally take some of these footsteps and drag them into audio as well. So stay, but sounds like we already have a jump in the sound. Maybe we could just leave those. We'll see how they fit. Step 1. I'm not too familiar with the Unity audio engine, so I was hoping that this would randomize it. See if that happens. I was gonna say, that does not sound right. I was in the wrong audio folder, as you can see. This is from what they provided at first. So let's go ahead, figure this out. So I bet it's switching it in this first person controller that it came with. So let's see. Look for audio clips, array of footsteps. Footsteps. There, element 1 and element 0. So, element 2, element 3, go ahead and get the correct audio into here. There you are. And these are labeled a little weird with the numbering, I know, but not too concerned right now, and I've got a little time constraint, so yeah, let's take a listen. Sound pretty good. I think the volume's gonna come down a little bit. See kind of how it goes out with the put some ambiance in maybe. It just doesn't sound great. I don't really know if we need a jump sound. Guess I could make one quickly, but I want to say, see how we're doing on time. We have about 30-ish minutes before we hit that 3-hour mark. We'll keep it in. Oh, I guess, you know what? I think I'm just going to leave it as is for now, and if it's something that I have time to go back and change, then I can. For now, we'll just keep kind of chugging. So let's go back to the logic. We got our footsteps in. This is the metal ping that I wanted, so an indicator when the player actually hits the target. Want that to be pretty obvious, kind of in your face. Like a ting, because you know they got those little metal caps and metal shields and whatnot. So let's go to a clean start. I'm gonna go impacts, metal. And no sound because it's soloed. Oh, I like that last little bit. This can be enough being the first, one of the first sounds that I came across, but let's hear it. Yeah, I do like that a lot. And these are really, they really sound like a good indicator. I don't know why that sample's so much louder, but I think 3 is enough. I'm not really hearing too much of that, like in the beginning, from the Messer shield, the yeah, metal heater shield. I'm gonna add some variation to this. I like that. And that is a very quick and efficient way of getting those sounds, which I'm happy with. So 4 should be fine again. Metal and tips. Go ahead and clean these up. Cut and cut. Roll on over. Cut. Cut. And over. And let's bounce these. Ping. Yep. Let me fade these real quick, just to be sure. Okay. And again, you can kind of see I'm trying to work quickly with this. I know I'm not spending a crazy amount of time on some of these things, but once I hear that I like it, move on. Let's pull these bad boys in. Sweet. And we got to think about how we're going to implement this. So I have a random bucket of 4. I don't want to see how they did this in here. So I think they did an array. Audio source. Get the audio source component. A footstep. Check if it's grounded, blah, blah, blah. And so they have a function. I wonder if I could just make a function similar to this and then call it in my gun script. And then just I might just copy this. No shame in that. Edit. Oh, whoa. Why are you getting angry at me? Let's say play metal. Let's go ahead and create. So this is going to be a public field. Here. Audio clip. You can't make it. Um, Come on, you gotta scooch over. I know there's a quicker way to do this, but well. Why are you giving me? Oh, come on down, buddy. Okay, it's spazzing out of it. Oh. I have an audio source in there. Maybe I could just do this. This is where my coding skills kind of fall. But once you start dealing with arrays and lists, I always get a little tripped up, but that's okay. So 1 to the length of 1 metal pin. I think we can just go ahead and say metal pings dot metal pings of n. It should generate a random number. Wait, let's see though. So that's the function. That's good. Now we just need to call the function in the right spot. So if right when we increase the score, so we can do play metal ping. Good call. Let's see what happens. Oh, and I might have to assign metal pings. Here you are. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Back to our audio. Changes that. So just have to do this the long way. What? Is that why they had the clip? Audio data versus Okay, I don't really understand that. I'm gonna have to look into that later, but let's go ahead and change this to, let's see, audio input. See if that helps. Uh, Again, just gonna kind of see what they use. Hmm. I think that was the right way of going about it. Leave it as an audio source. I have to figure out how to get. Let's just go ahead and create an object. Before toss them in. Nope. Else, give it some distinction. And now let's see. There we go. Probably a much smarter way to do this, but you know, I'm going with what kind of works on the fly. So whatever. Let's see if it works. Ooh, played on the start, so we're gonna have to change that. Hear it, but it is just quite a little bit delayed. So it's not overlapping with that rifle sound, but not crazy amounts. So it's like, you know, the bullets moving at 2 miles an hour. So we're gonna have to find that happy medium. um, First off, let's get it to not shoot uh, awake. And there's no reason for that to shoot off, right? I suppose when I first click. No, I didn't touch anything and it's still pinged. So how can I get you guys to not play on a there are aspects to this that I am unfamiliar with, that I'm learning. This is why I like why so much better. I'm just way more comfortable in it, but metal ping, metal ping. Why are you playing? That is source. Let's see. Ping. Not really sure. I have to look at this. But if the player hears a ping sound at the very beginning, oh well. I don't think it's gonna ruin the game necessarily. Let's keep moving on. So I want to create some ambiance. I love making wind sounds with this. Oop, that's the wrong one. One of these synths. I always forget which one it is. Polyphonic. Yes. Bunch of noise. I don't have a keyboard set up, so I'm just using my. Let's get a quick attack. Boost all these. I don't want it to sort of. I know it's like 10 seconds long. Oh yeah. All right. Let's at least get a note in here. See how long this is. 12 seconds, yeah, should be good. Trim it to 10, maybe, but I think that's fine. Why is the playback sounding so different? First, let's turn this down. Yeah, those don't sound the same. I don't know what's going on. Hmm. Yeah, I think we're going to automate this wah parameter. So let's go ahead and go into automation mode. Batch. Click on this. Oh yeah. Love it. think what I'm gonna do, just to add a little bit more layer to this, because I do like that sound as like the main body of it, but I want some more kind of low end wind. Let's get out of automation mode, duplicate this, call you wind low. Push this over a bit. Go, and let's see. I wonder if this is going to sound like absolute shit if I throw a pitch shifter on it, but let's see what happens. Alter boy. So this is just this. That sounds pretty good. Maybe I could pull out a little bit more of the low end with a low EQ. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Sweet. Also want like maybe some bird sounds, crickets, cicadas, something of the likes. I don't think I have any sound libraries downloaded into Logic that have those, but let's go ahead and take a look anyways. If I did, they'd probably be in Reformer, which again is another fantastic plugin from Krotos. Let's put it in stereo. Kind of want that panned, tweets and chirps. Let's see what you got. Bird? Nope. Tigers. I'm looking for that type of thing. Don't think I have anything. We might have to just go to like a free library sample pack. I'm not seeing more. That's okay. So my go-to free library pack is, oops, FixBay. I do like a lot of this stuff. It's really easy. It's cheap. Look at that. Mine. Hell no. Do like that, but I'd kind of like to make the layers myself. I could use some EQing, but yeah, I like it. That is harsh. I think we got our birds. Let's go to like a cicada. Okay. Doesn't sound like a cicada. I like this one. What else could we have? Bird, cicadas. Well, let's play with it, see how it sounds. I'm literally just gonna drag these right in. You created a mono track, stereo track to a mono. I'm just gonna not add this. Whatever. This get all screwed up when I did that. It might have. Something got really screwed up. Let's just go ahead and delete this track and import it. It was meant to. Okay. Those are going to be hot. Let's see. I already know these are going to blow my eardrums out, so. And yeah, I like this. I'm happy with it. Go ahead and cut it, delete, and do some panning automation. It's going to be real rough. Oh well. Two chirps and pretty far left. There maybe. No, I'm doing this the wrong way. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Fine, we can add this. I think I'll leave that in the middle. Nah, okay. Just a little. See the sounds. I'm gonna bring in the cicadas in the wind as well. That's fine. It's a little weird with like the birds going. I think I'm gonna actually turn down this effect. Why not get to jump these too quick? Yeah, that kind of still captures that like stereo image I'm trying to get. Actually fade some of these. Just so there's nothing really jagged. I'm gonna have this move across a little bit. Same with this guy. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's hear how it sounds actually. Wonder how we do it on which time. Ooh, we are probably close to the limit, so I'm gonna leave that. I think I'm getting too caught up in it. Do I even need this cardinal? And I want to turn that gain down. Kind of nice. I can make sure that's on the right side, the left side, excuse me. That'll be a good counterbalance. Okay. Let's hear how they sound. It's just a little hot. Okay. Let's go ahead and extend this out all the way to about 8.5. And let's hear how everything sounds. Yeah, for time's sake, I think this is good enough. I hate saying the word good enough, but let's do it. Um, let's, of course, fade this in, fade it out. And we will bounce you. Ambiance. I don't know if we're gonna have time for any kind of music. Play around with this synth, but I know my habits in a synth and I'm gonna get really caught up in them and probably take a bunch of time. So let's just get this in here. Let's open up our scripts. And we'll go into the countdown, I think, because on the start, I want this to play. So, like audio source. I think I might be spelling that wrong. I always forget if it's an E or an A. Oh well, doesn't matter. On game start. Ambiance dot play. All right, so go ahead and pull that in to our audio. And we have countdown, ambiance. Come on, let's make a clip. And global. Oh yeah. I want stationary so that when you turn, the bird's gonna stay where they're at. This is the first time I've looked at 3D sun settings in Unity itself, but let's see. And fixed. Uh, I'm not sure what that does, but first off, those footsteps have got to come down. First person. Oh, 75-ish%. Jump sound in the sound. I just really don't like. I think I'm just gonna put a footstep in there instead. So why not? That's their footsteps. Shoot. My footsteps. The ping in the beginning too is really bugging me. Did that sound run out or before 10 seconds? Oh, it's just short. Quick fix for that. I wonder if I can change the speed. I don't know if that's. I don't know if this pitch volume or this pitch slider changes pitch and speed of the playback. It worked out perfectly. Weird. This timer just doesn't seem right. Feels like it's slow in terms of seconds, but I'm not gonna get caught up in that now. What else would I? Wonder if I can just get like a dramatic loop. The ending. Dramatic suspense. Yeah, I don't know. What about maybe for the ending, we can go like a little congrats or something. Oh, why not? We are hitting the 3-hour time, so I'm gonna go ahead and yank this in here. Not very creative, but I want something when the player finishes the game. So let's go into scenes, game over, global. Do I have any scripts? I think I can just play it on start. Yeah, so that'll work. Audio, fanfare. Play on awake. Now, oh, actually, yes, because I was just playing this scene. So wait, let's see. Notice that it shifted up in pitch. Oh, who cares? I didn't make this sound effect anyways, so. Grab scenes. Ping is really driving me nuts. Cheesy, but it's something. Good with you. I just want to figure out this ping. Bear with me while I do some research. That is why. Nothing a little Google search could fix. I just forgot I had these as objects. That I'm okay with on awake. Oh my god, it's just so low in the mix. I'm gonna try and beef it up or bring everything else down. So let's see. Footsteps. I'm just gonna experiment with this. Okay. That up to like 0.4. Bring the ambiance. Ambiance. 6. I think the pings will be fine. Let's see. Here, a little bit more dominating. That's sort of in your face. That last ta-da. Bring it down. 0.8. 0.75-ish. Save that. And guys, I think we're right there. We do one more playthrough. All right. Oh, I wish I had like some sort of particle. Well, I can't say point. Some kind of flash on the barrel, but we're out of time, and yeah, unfortunately I can't. But I think I'm happy with this. I think I'm going to build it. So let's just double check the build settings. I'm going to go ahead and build this. I have to load a WebGL module. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But I think this is where we're going to wrap up. I'm happy with the way this game is sort of sounding. Playback is, I'm sorry, the actual game design itself isn't really where I had hoped. But this is a 3-hour game. At least a 3-hour time spent on building game. So I'm happy with the progress I made. I definitely learned a lot in this. I think a lot a lot of the behind the scenes work that I was doing, just researching like raycasting and, some other kind of different methodologies within Unity that I didn't know about before that I definitely learned, just kind of forced myself to do this. So I'm really happy with the way things turned out. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for watching. I'll try and make like a summary video or something, a little bit more condensed, so that people don't have to watch 3 hours of this. But yeah, make sure to let me know in the comments if there's anything you like, dislike, things that I can improve upon, anything like that. Always open to any sort of feedback or criticism. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate your time. And yeah, until next time, take care.